a redundancy recording here.
Cool.
Just
okay.
because I'm scared of everything. Everyone hit record.
Yeah. Let's go. We did it.
Okay,
Record.
so everybody, I guess the chair is working now. Do you think, Ree, that it was your fault too that the chair wasn't working?
Well, that would be fitting with the theme of today. So I'm gonna go ahead and say yeah.
Oh no, I can feel it sinking again already.
Oh my god.
What's
Fun
happening?
fact, I'm a fan.
It's so
What you get for
slow.
calling me out.
It's so slow and gradual.
Everybody, as the chair is working now, do you think Ree,
Why? Now I'm hearing myself echo again.
Okay, yeah, no. That's, I wanted to check. It's recording all of us, not just me.
Okay.
I figured I would make that now.
Maybe in keeping with the theme of today's episode, I have lost track of what's real.
What is the podcast? Where does the
We're
podcast
actually in a
begin?
simulation right now.
I'm like a foot off the ground right now.
This was like a dream version of the podcast, but some
I
sort
don't
of
have any
trippy
options.
fever dream.
Okay, I'm gonna just get like a regular hard chair for right now. And then the gamer chair can go sit in the corner. What?
I got a picture.
I don't want a picture of it.
Okay. I'm still gonna record just in case.
Because you
Well,
should
we'll make
record
it
too. We'll have one of these things will work basically.
Maybe.
Okay, I have a
Throw
backup
enough
thing.
stuff at this, and it should be listenable. That's what we aim for,
Yeah.
GameBusters.
We have a minimum standards bar that we strive to meet.
Lower than your gaming chair.
Lower, Jesus. Now that I'm sitting in a regular chair and I'm not moving downward, it feels wrong. Like I was in there for so long. Okay, so I think this is a podcast about video games. Welcome to GameBusters. Wait, we should sync up. This is awful.
Welcome to the first episode of
Welcome to the
GameBusters,
first
guys.
episode, apparently. 9 months later. Okay, I'm just gonna count down 1, 2, 3, and after 3, like on go, everybody clap, okay?
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
Hey, that was smooth.
No, I didn't ask you to do the friends clap. Who did that? Okay. I'll have to edit this a little bit into something that humans could like consume for
I
entertainment.
feel like that is an understatement.
Yeah, it's an uphill battle for sure. This is GameBusters. I think this is a podcast from GameLuster.com. And if you are new, every week we do a deep dive into a game or franchise. We talk about how low Nirav's chair is. And so I know everything's horrible and serious right now. We're just trying to chill in here, talk about some games. So I'm Nirav, like I said, and I am your host. And I'm joined as always by my lovely co-host Ree.
Hey, this is the worst week to brag about my shiny new gamer chair I got, but yeah, I'm here.
Did you take some of the elevation out of my chair to make yours higher?
I must have done. I stole the energy, and I'm more of a gamer than you.
Stole my chair energy, and our special guest today is Bree from just the world.
Hello, and I don't even have a gamer chair, so I don't know if I'm qualified to be here or not.
Do you have your own Discord server?
I do.
Oh, you do?
There we go.
Okay, that's a
But
good.
it's for school.
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
Should have
Yeah.
probably stopped talking.
I should have stopped that.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna jump into the Hall of Fame Luster, which, by the way, Ree, I was talking with a friend about I think that GameBusters might be coming towards the end of season 1.
You feeling like we're approaching a season finale?
Yeah, I don't know what it is gonna be, but I don't know. I was thinking whenever season 1 ends, maybe is when we'll kind of close off the Hall of Fame Luster and move on to something else.
Oh my god, I'm not sure if I'm emotionally ready to leave.
Yeah, I know we'll be
the
here for a
lovely
little
additions
while.
behind.
Yeah,
But it has to be done.
we've killed so many people.
Nirav, we've already said you can't use
Sorry,
legally,
no, we
you
can't.
can't use the word kill.
Yeah, legally, no. Legally, what happened is many people were killed.
Wait, we're there?
We were, yeah. does that make me an accomplice? That's for the law to decide.
Passive language. Remember, passive language, and it's not our fault.
But yeah, I was starting to think of ideas for maybe what season 2 could bring. And so I just want everyone to meditate on that. Maybe put people into an arena and make them fight.
Oh my god.
So actually, I just had a great idea. But I'll save it. It's in my brain space now. So today we are back at the Hall of Fame Luster, and we have another entry that hopefully will do okay up here, which is the worst disguised alien. This can be in any sort of media. It doesn't need to be video games. So, Reed, did you end up thinking of anything in the 40 minutes it's taken us to set up?
I did. Actually, this is the one that I knew instantly. And now I'm thinking it doesn't even count, but I'm
Go for it.
go with it. Well, no, it does count. I'm being stupid. So I'm going with what's he called? Black Doom in Shadow the Hedgehog.
Is he disguised?
Well, it's just I was thinking in terms of like ones that really, really, really stick out and weren't even making an effort to hide, and everyone just sort of is fine with it. Like Shadow looks at this guy and goes, "Yeah, he seems trustworthy to help me with my amnesia." And then just helps him out without really asking for a reason why.
Yeah.
As you went over in your amazing video, there's not
Thank
a
you.
whole lot. It transcends sense. You
Yeah.
don't need sense.
The jumping, like, man, the jumps in logic there, you would need a homing attack to cross that gap.
So I went for him just because he sticks out like a sore thumb, and no one seems like too concerned about it. So yeah, Black
Alright.
Doom.
That's not a bad one. Bree, what do you have?
So technically, since this movie came out, somewhat changed the lore. So I'm going with Sonic because now he is classified as an alien, at least in our universe.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah. No one seems to care too much about the little blue guy running around.
Yeah.
I think they all seem pretty cool with it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Except for the doctor.
Eggman cared. Like Jim Carrey.
Yeah, Eggman
he was sort of
cares,
considered a
but-
weird. He was considered a weirdo for caring. Like,
Yeah,
I think he was the most normal person in that movie.
I've been like thinking about like if I knew that there was a really fast like blue hedgehog out there and like just somewhere like running around and like I saw him like run by my house out the window, I'd be like, oh, nice. And I would like go on not care. Like, see, I think I would be like everybody else. So, like, oh, nice.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be concerned enough. It's not like a giant monster tearing down
Yeah.
buildings, so it doesn't bother me. It doesn't
Right.
bother me.
Okay, so my entry might be controversial because I believe he's already been inducted into the Hall of Fame Luster.
Oh my god.
But it is Stitch from Lilo and Stitch.
Oh my god.
'Cause if you remember in the context of the movie, basically Lilo tells everyone, "This is my dog," and then he says, "Oh hi," which was like,
God.
I don't know, like, but like it's one of those funny things where like everybody just buys it, like in that universe, you know? It's like, oh yeah,
Yeah, no
obviously
one
this is a
does.
talking blue dog.
I mean, just be honest. You picked him because you don't want more blood on your hands as to who we send up to.
He's gonna
the Hall of
live.
Fame Luster.
He's gonna live up
Yeah.
there. I'm starting to think that maybe we thought we like, you know, like if a studio like starts to get big and they're like, oh man, we're really gonna make it, like we need to get like a big studio, all this fancy equipment, and they maybe like overspend and like kind of shoot too high, and end up like, you know, draining more resources than they should at the time just because things are going well. I think that may have happened for us. I thought like, you know, like, oh, we got to go bigger than this patch of dirt, and we went to the moon directly from there
Yeah.
without any stops in between.
Most people would stretch that out over a few episodes. It was more or less just one
Right.
for us, I think.
think I may have shot for the moon and landed there, and that wasn't good. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I've been considering about downsizing the hall, but if all goes
It would
well,
be nice. It'd be nice to have more alive members of it, I think.
I think that I have a good idea for what we might transition to next. I'm just gonna run it out there. Do you guys know the game Super Fight?
No.
No.
There's a card game. It's like a competitive card game, but it's like a fun one. And like all it has is like cards that have like characters from pop culture on it, from like literally everything, and then there's like another set of cards that's like conditions for the fight, and basically like you just like both pull a card from that deck and then come in to the fight and try to like argue that you would win, and then you can
Ooh.
add like modifier cards to it, which are like, but it's raining or something, and then figure out
Okay,
who's
that
gonna
sounds
win.
fun.
So I think it might be fun to
Yeah.
utilize that sort of a thing here.
So we're adding more depth to the.
Yeah, there's gonna
To
be more
our
death.
game that we play.
Don't be mistaken, but this is gonna be, everyone's gonna have to sign a waiver before coming in.
Oh, thank God! Yeah, legally we need to get ourselves covered.
Legally,
this
we
time
need to be
round.
protected. But it is gonna be basically a gladiator fight. Which
Okay,
which if you
I
remember,
get-
were very legal in Rome, and they made pasta. I
Yeah.
think.
I mean, yeah, I can't fault your logic here. I think it's pretty.
I was about to, yeah. I was about to say let's move on. We didn't even vote yet. I honestly don't even want to. I don't want to do
Who
this
are we
to
sending
anybody.
up?
Who's going up? All right. All right. Ree, where are your votes gonna go?
Throwing one to Black Doom, and I'm also throwing one to Sonic. We're gonna have a very Sonic themed moon. That's what.
Yeah, I do want more Sonic on the moon. Bree, what are you gonna do?
I'm voting Sonic and Stitch.
Oh, okay. You know what? It might be weird. I don't actually think Sonic's ever won one of these before.
How hasn't he with us
Yeah.
hosting this?
It's been a while. I'm gonna give one to him. I'm also gonna give one to Black Doom. That's funny, and I like remembering that he's around. Yeah, but yeah, Sonic is welcome. Everyone's favorite blue alien. To the Hall of Fame Luster. So maybe he can open the gladiator matches. Maybe he can commentate.
I mean, if he lives, can he outrun death? We're gonna find out. Let's go.
Can he outrun the vacuum of space?
So which animation of Sonic is going out there though? Like new movie animation, old movie animation, or
I think, okay, if we don't
What are
want
we
him to
doing?
die, we need to send up Supersonic.
Okay.
Because he can exist in space.
this is
He
true.
can. That has been proven.
If we don't care as much, then I guess we can send classic Sonic up there from the 2D games. Now and if you remember, when he goes underwater, he does die unless he gets some air pretty soon from a little bubble. So
Yes.
As long as he can find some bubbles up there. I mean, I'm not a space expert. I'm not sure if pockets of air.
You know what?
That's a common thing to come across in space.
Fuck it.
You never know.
Fuck it, Sonic Generations. We're gonna send them both up there.
Nice.
Alright. Good idea. Alright, thank you. Welcome, Sonic. Alright, so let's jump into our main segment today. So, welcome to Bustums. We are going to be talking about Prey, the 2017 game. I know many of you are, I'm sure, here to talk about the wildly unsuccessful 2006 third-person shooter Prey. No such luck.
Small
We're-
indie game.
Small indie game. We're not here for that one, unfortunately. But yeah. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So I guess I feel like I'm more of the expert on this one, and I needed someone to sort of cushion Ree when I yell. So Bree, that's why you're here.
Okay, I can do this.
Yeah. But I think we played this game together. Am I right in remembering that?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Okay. So, this is a cool game. So just briefly to like brief people on it, before we get into the development. This is an immersive sim game, much like Dishonored or like the Thief games. And it also has a lot of BioShock in it, and it also has it's also in the form of like a first-person shooter in that way. But it is really a game about like being in this big space station, there being tons of aliens with weird powers and stuff, trying to survive and navigate it. There's crafting, there's building, resource management, modifying weapons and armor and all this stuff, getting psychic powers, getting all these different elemental powers, and using a combination of all these things to figure out the most inventive way to cross obstacles, regardless of what they are. It is also like a horror game for sure, so watch out. They gonna jump at you. Ree, I think I'm sure you've seen like the trailers and stuff for this game. What is your understanding of what this is?
Prey is a first-person shooter video game. Okay, I'm fucking looking at the Wikipedia article as we talk about.
Are you gonna
this.
read the Wikipedia article?
I'm aware it's a video game. It's always been one of those ones that I've been like, oh, I'm definitely playing that when I'm done with my current game. And it's sitting on my shelf, unplayed, for 3 years now.
Oh my god. This game is very special to me because it defied all expectations. When they advertised this in E3 2016, I was like immediately like, I was like, I have to have this, like I have to have it right now. And for the next year until it came out, I legitimately, I shit you not, like my routine every morning was to wake up, get on the Prey subreddit and look for any scraps of new information. Like that was literally what I did every day. And I built up.
Somehow still enjoyed the game.
I built up my expectations so high for this. I was like, this is going to be the greatest thing ever made. It's going to destroy all of the video games. And then like I got it. I pre-ordered the deluxe edition, of course. I like preloaded it. I opened it up at midnight when it released. I took that Friday off, and it exceeded my expectations. And I think in that way it has sort of ruined me because now I keep like, you know, if I pre-order a game, I'm like, yeah, that worked really well one time.
So it's like the reverse Cyberpunk then.
Yeah,
so
this seems to be the
hype.
exception rather than the rule, I think.
Yeah, I can't think of any game that's been insanely hyped and just adored.
Yeah, so I do want to give a shout out to that article I was sharing around the other day, which was titled "Prey does everything better than every other game," which is correct. Which I will go through in my TED Talk today. On
the subject, sorry, I just want to say that I love the culture around Prey. Everyone bloody loves this game so much.
So good.
I've worked at 2 outlets, and everyone from both outlets has been like, you need to play Prey. I recently get a job at another outlet, and the first thing I see is that they have a whole day dedicated to bloody Prey articles. I can't escape this game.
Right, because it's March 15th. Wake up. But like, yeah, no, it is that way because this game, like, unfortunately sold very poorly, but it received like massive critical and fan acclaim, but it sold very poorly, and so people who have played it are very desperate to get other people to play it, you know. I'm glad that it's finding a new life now that it came onto Game Pass. That seems to be like the big notable addition with all the Bethesda games coming. Everyone's talking about it again, so I'm very excited. But yeah, I do want to kind of start with the history of Arkane Studios, who I've made clear is my favorite game studio. And they have such an interesting past. And a lot of this information comes from the No Clip documentary that came out last year. I highly recommend that for anybody who's even remotely interested in this studio. They interviewed like all the people involved with this, and they made such an interesting chronology of the development of the studio. But yeah, you can find that on YouTube, and it's free. I would recommend watching it. So, Arkane Studios is, of course, best known for making the Dishonored games, but they started from humble beginnings. So, interestingly, I thought this was funny. So, the founder of the studio, Raf Colantonio, he actually was working for EA back in the 90s when he got in, when he got into game dev. He got hired by EA, and he was actually working on System Shock back then. Ooh, a precursor of things to come. But interestingly, he said that when the PlayStation came out, EA had shifted all of its attention to their sports games and making annual sports games, and weren't really interested in these inventive, innovative things anymore. And he's like, I don't know, it's kind of going downhill. And this was in 1998, so it's it's been a minute, I think. I just think it's funny as early as like 1998, like people at EA were like, "Oh man, this place is all about the money." Yeah, but let's see here. Yeah, so he left the studio and he started his own studio in 1999 in Lyon, France, with 11 people total. So this is, I think, we've I think covered a lot of people who started with EA and then left because they didn't like it there.
I'm starting to think EA might not be the best place to work for. I don't know what gives me impression.
It's sad because I think EA has like really not treated a lot of our favorite franchises well.
Or people.
Or or humans.
The consumers.
Yeah, like, you know, a lot of, well, I've got you both right here. I mean, who are, I remember, big fans of Dragon Age, which
Oh boy.
I'm not allowed to forget.
Never forget.
But yeah, like just, you know, people being worried about what Dragon Age 4 is going to actually be like, and will it be good?
If it's a thing.
Well,
if it gets released.
It's real. It's real. I saw a picture of a bald guy.
No, here's what's gonna happen. You play for 10 minutes and then you gotta pay to play for the rest of the game.
I wouldn't even be surprised. So that's the company we're dealing with, the sort of company that makes me go, alright, well I've seen like 3 trailers, but I'm not sure this game exists.
Yeah. So Colantonio had support from one of the so interestingly, there was a game called Ultima Underworld being made by EA, and Colantonio had been working on that, but when he left, he was like, I want to make Ultima Underworld 2 like my own way, in my own style, without EA telling me what to do. So he approached EA about like making it for them as an independent studio, and they said like, yeah, we'll let you do that as long as we have creative control over the project. And he was like, fuck you and fuck EA, and then he left again.
King shit.
Yep. And so instead they created a game in the spirit of that game, Ultima Underworld, and they called this Arx Fatalis, which, have either of you seen anything about Arx Fatalis?
Have not heard of it in my life.
A lot of people have not heard of it. It was a PC-only game in 1999, so that's probably why. I have played a little bit of it. It is basically think of like the old school Elder Scrolls games, but like instead of casting spells by clicking a button, you have to like actually draw a series of runes on the screen to like invoke the magical name of the spell to cast it. Like,
well, that is a concept. And
yeah,
right
like
there.
It is a really cool concept, and you know they did it right, but like the problem is that it's not like super fun after a while. But they certainly got it to work. So anyway, it was well received but was a commercial failure. Critical success, commercial failure will sort of become a mantra for Arkane Studios.
God damn it! Like, why does no one buy good games?
No, people don't want to buy good games. They want to buy EA Soccer. What's that called? FIFA? Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry. It's only like in the top 10 best-selling games every single year.
Yeah, that's true. I think it is actually the best-selling game every year.
Oh no.
So, they got a lot of critical praise though, like I said, for Arx Fatalis, and so Valve actually tapped into them and was like, "Hey, why don't you make a sequel for Arx Fatalis with us?" And then they tried to do that, and then this is by the way the first, like, just start counting. If you have like 6 hands, maybe you can start counting all the games they started to make that were canceled a year later.
Oh my god.
So here's the first one, which was Arx Fatalis 2 with Valve, and Valve was like, no, after a year, they're like, we don't actually want to do this, I'm sorry, bye. Then Ubisoft approached them and was like, hey, we made this game called Might and Magic, and it sucks. Do you want to make it good instead? So this game, which I don't know if either of y'all heard of this, Dark Messiah of Might and Magic.
No, haven't heard of that one.
This one is came out in 2006. I believe was also PC only. By Ubisoft, published by Ubisoft. This was their first immersive sim game. So this game was one in which you were given a wide set of tools. You were given an intricate world with a lot of overlaid systems, and you were told to just find your way through it, figure it out, be resourceful. And it was in first person too, which was like crazy because like that. I mean, I think I may. You know what? I'll actually go ahead and say it. I think Arkane Studios is maybe the only people who have managed to make like satisfying first person like swordplay.
That is hard. I haven't played an Arkane Studios game, but I also haven't played a game that's done.
Yeah, like
first-person swordplay satisfying.
I genuinely can't think of a game besides like the Dishonored ones that do like first-person sword fighting very well. Yeah, so like basically, okay, so 2006 and 7, Valve contacted them again. Gabe is on the phone, and Gabe's like, "Hey guys, you know Half-Life? You guys like Half-Life, right? Make another Half-Life. Come on." So Arkane Studios was actually tapped to make Half-Life Ravenholm, which would have actually been Half-Life 4. They actually were working on Half-Life 3. Half-Life 3 was actually being developed by another studio at the time, which Valve also canceled. So yeah, about 2 years into the making of Half-Life Ravenholm, it was canceled because Valve was worried about like the cost of the game.
Why did they go back to Valve after the first time? You don't go back
after messy breakup, but then Valve comes back with, "Hey, you want to make Half-Life? Come on."
I've changed.
I've changed. I'm bringing you Half-Life. Come on. So yeah, that did not work out either. So there's the second canceled game. All right, let's get on with it. So after Dark Messiah, Arkane was making another game with EA. No, this wasn't with EA. I'm sorry. This is with So this game is called The Crossing. This is with an unknown publisher, quote unquote. People think it might have been Valve again, but they are legally not allowed to say which publisher this was.
Oh my god.
So this game, The Crossing, is going to sound extremely familiar if you've seen trailers for Arkane's new game, Deathloop. Deathloop, by the way, is like the evolution of what was salvaged out of this canceled game. So The Crossing was a game in which you were in a big sort of open world city, and you would have to, complete tasks, and, quests and everything, but NPCs would invade your game, and they were all real people. So, like, one person was playing the campaign, and, like, hundreds of other people are NPCs in their world, basically. And you basically would, like, run through and, like, all these, like, enemies would appear, but they were all being controlled by real humans. And, like, you would just basically, like, bounce between games that you were, like, invading, essentially. Which was, like, a very cool concept, but the publisher, who I again think, look, they were using the Source engine for this, which is owned by Valve, so I'm assuming that this was Valve again. Gabe called him up again 2 years into development and said, "I love what you guys are doing. I don't want any part of it."
Oh my god. How do Valve still get people to work with them?
Oh my god.
Oh,
It's incredible. Well, I think you can see as evidenced by the past 10 years, they haven't.
That is a valid point.
Um,
It's just, I like there's a common theme here. You can tell how good a development studio is by how awfully they are treated by the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. See BioWare. Yeah, so essentially this game was canceled, and at this point it's, Arkane has had like many canceled games, right? So they're very relieved when EA comes back to them.
Oh my god. Imagine being that desperate that the sight of EA and their money
You need to watch this documentary. I cannot explain to you how desperate they were, because they were paying everybody literal pennies. Like, a lot of the founders of the studio were like, were just like had to cut their own pay below like minimum wage, basically, to keep the studio open. So EA comes trotting back in, and they're like, "I'm working with Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg wants to make a video game, and he wants you guys on it." Notorious video game developer Steven Spielberg.
And obviously, notoriously, people in the film industry wanting to get involved in video games always works out really, really well.
Yeah.
And never collapses.
Never
Especially
collapses.
if EA's involved.
So they wanted Steven Spielberg wanted to make a narrative-driven, choice-based game before, and a reminder, this is before Telltale or Life is Strange existed, really. And they wanted to get in there and kind of, Steven Spielberg was like, I've got an idea, like I want to make a movie-like video game that you control. And so you can watch, by the way, the demo of this game. It exists. It's called LMNO, like the letters LMNO. Yeah, they worked on this for about a year. Steven said, nope, don't like it. And then so EA canceled the project again. This was very bad. So Arkane basically had to decide to become a support studio. So for the next 3 or 4 years, what they worked on was Call of Duty World at War for Activision, and then for 2K they worked on BioShock 2. So this is good because they get some BioShock experience in there, which we will use for Prey later. So yeah, this is desperate. Basically, it's bad. So we're now Colantonio basically is like, okay, this studio's collapsing. Like, we need to make some better friends for publishing. So he opens up a new shop in Austin, Texas, because they're based out of France. So he's like, I can make better connections here in Austin. There's like a lot more publishers based in this area. We can make some friends here and get some jobs. And so he opened up a studio, which was just him sitting in an office. It was, honestly, you should see some of these pictures. It's like very sad. Please watch this documentary. It's like literally just like one room with like a bunch of boxes and a guy.
Only person he could bloody trust at this point in the gaming industry. I mean,
so yeah, so at this point in Austin, Colantonio met Harvey Smith, who is going to be the other key figure for Arkane Studios. Harvey Smith is just like the most American guy. He's like, just met him around the streets in Texas. Well, hey, this is Harvey. Hello, Harvey.
that is a very American name, Harvey Smith. Just two first names right there.
Oh yeah.
Smith is a surname, isn't it?
Smith is definitely a last name.
It's like this last name you can get. I'm running on free.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
So they kind of bonded and were like, okay, let's see, can we do a game together? Can we like make something that's gonna actually get done? So they devised like a ninja pitch, basically, like right on the spot for just like, I believe from the documentary that they had like lunch together and they're like, let's just brainstorm a game right now. And what they came up with was basically the skeleton for Dishonored and what that would eventually become. So Smith joined Arkane Studios, and then in 2010 they still have no games of their own. They've released BioShock 2. They were basically preparing to let everyone in the studio go. They were at a diner, and like some of the staff there were having like dinner together, and Raph said like he did that. He like got a phone call because he had been put out a call about they had made it known that they were willing to be acquired, and he got a call from Bethesda Softworks, and he said he walked outside the diner and he took the call, and they said like, yeah, we want to acquire you. We're ready to sign the papers right now. And he's like, yeah, I kept cool, I was like, yeah, that sounds fine. We'll come in for a meeting. Our people will see your people. And they hung up the phone. He walked in looking really dejected. Everyone's looking at him really intensely, and he's like, we got it. He faked did the shitty fake him out thing. But yeah, that was they said that was the most exciting moment in their lives, was getting acquired by Bethesda, because it meant that they could keep the studio open.
They could make games.
They could make games. So it's interesting that as much shit as Bethesda gets for this, for other stuff, I guess, they have been very instrumental in finding extremely talented studios like Arkane, Machine Games, who does Wolfenstein, and id Software, who does Doom. Finding them, acquiring them because they're about to shut down, and funding the games and just letting them make the stuff that they're good at making.
I don't think Todd Howard just has a massive savior complex. He likes to
He
think
does.
that
He has a
is,
Todd
and, like-
complex.
Yes. Oh, I found that too funny.
Yeah, so we're getting there, don't worry. Let's see here. Okay. So finally, they finally approached Bethesda, and they had sat down with them and were like, "Hey, okay, so we have an idea for the game we want you to make. It's about a bunch of ninjas," and they're like jumping around on roofs and stuff. So they actually pitched them a game set in feudal Japan in which the emperor is killed, and his God, what do they call the like the protector? What is the shogunate? Anyway, his like lord protector is blamed basically for the emperor's death. Pretend everyone, like the one of these other guys like rises up and frames him for it, and he has to go into hiding, and then take out all of these different people who were part of the coup to clear his name, and was called Dishonored. And this was like pitched by Bethesda, and they were like, yes, but without the ninjas. So yeah, that is of course the game they ended up making, but they changed the setting to be in a Victorian England and went from there. But the rest of that is not part of this episode. So this is when Prey comes into play. So I think both of y'all mentioned you don't have a lot of experience with the old 2006 game Prey, right?
No.
Yeah, no, I've never played the old Prey game.
Okay.
I've heard about it, but never played it.
Yeah, so this was made by Human Head Studios. I've played a few hours of it. Human Head Studios was acquired by Bethesda in 2008 or something like that, because they went bankrupt, because that game was again a critical success commercial failure. So Bethesda acquired this studio, and they all the personnel from that studio were added to Arkane's Austin studio. So Human Head Studios essentially became Arkane Austin. That group of people were asked to make Prey 2, like just a sequel to that game. After about 2 years of development, Arkane was told, no, don't, this one's done. No thanks. Again. It's incredible. I don't think that there's a single other studio that's had so many canceled projects.
That's the thing. We've talked about how like Obsidian have had it rough, about how Bioware's had it rough. This is at another level. I mean, most companies would just not exist anymore. And also, just want to point out that like Activision Blizzard routinely fires like 100 members of staff every year when they make profits. How the hell were they keeping people fed at Arkane Studios with no games?
It is crazy. They didn't fire anybody. A lot of people did leave, though. Like, a lot of the...
oh, of course, yeah.
A lot of the management did leave during this time. Like, one of the founding guys actually left during the bad times, because he was, like... I think he, like, literally said, like, I, like, couldn't feed my, like, wife and daughter, like, on this salary. Like, he had to get a job in, like, software development. And, like, the only reason the studio was able to even stay open a little bit was because Raf Colantonio had, like, a pretty wealthy uncle who was, like, willing to, like, invest a little bit in the studio here and there. But, like, again, they were just, like, living, like, paycheck to paycheck there, trying to scrap at whatever, like, work, whatever work they could get from any publisher. And, like, again, they never really got to make their own games, though, right? Until Dishonored. Like, it was always just doing shit for other people. But finally... Oh, and also interesting, I thought this was a really fun fact. So, until last year when the documentary came out, nobody knew that Arkane had made, like, Half-Life Ravenholm, which is, like, a canonical new entry in Half-Life series, which people have been, a little vocal about.
Teeny tiny bit.
But they said, like, basically, like, a sort of a rite of passage when you begin working at Arkane is, like, somebody will appear at your desk and say, like, follow me, like, very solemnly, and, like, take you to this, like, dark room, and inside there's, like, a single computer, and on it is, like, Half-Life Ravenholm, and it's like, this is the lost Half-Life game. And like you like sit there and like play it, and that's like sort of like induction ceremony for working at the studio.
Yeah.
If everyone's bitching about wanting to play Half-Life 3, like just work at Arkane.
Yeah, why don't
and
you
then
just get a
can
job
play it.
there? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Prey 2, as I said, was canceled, the sequel to the original game, and so they rebooted development on it. This time, they were like, okay, we're making a new game, and we're just going to call it Prey. It is worth noting that during development within Arkane Studios, this game was referred to as Psychoshock. Because it was the spiritual successor to System Shock and Bioshock. Like I said, I mean, Raf Colantonio, the first game he ever worked on was the original System Shock with EA. So this was, pulling some of that experience in. So if have either of y'all played any of System Shock or System Shock 2?
Mm-mm.
Nah.
It is legitimately like very, if you like the kind of game design setup of Prey, it is the same. Like it's very much like that. BioShock was just an evolution of that game. I believe there's a System Shock like total remake coming out this year though, so keep an eye out for that. Ricciardo Bear. These are French people. He said they wanted a big interconnected dungeon that the player could roam so long as they could unlock everything. So like they kind of took this idea of like a Metroidvania, right? And they were like, this is going to be like, this whole space station is going to be one big mega dungeon. But they wanted to fill it with like aliens and all these other obstacles. So they did not want people to be standing in one place solving a puzzle. That was one thing they really wanted to avoid, was like, you get to a room, you have to solve a puzzle to move to the next room. That is not what they wanted here. So they said, like, we want people to think of this as a living, dynamic world where there are tons of solutions possible. So the way I always advertise Arkane's games is that, like, you see an obstacle, whether it's like a door or a vent or like a monster or a guard or whatever it is, there are at least a dozen ways around it right in front of you at any given time. Like, there is no correct way to progress past anything in this game. There are literally just the number of permutations you could do to like move around this game is so vast that I am assuming that, I mean, I don't think any two people could have ever played this game the same way exactly. So it has like a lot of gameplay concepts from Dishonored, which, was of course inspired by these older immersive sim games like System Shock and Thief. They said they wanted it to like feel pretty chaotic, because they wanted to feel like a functioning space station, right? So, you know what? Actually, now might be a good time to talk about like the content of the game. So, Bree, why don't you pitch me on like the story and like the like exploration of this game a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So essentially, I mean, it's a first person. So, I mean, you're cast in as a character, Morgan Yu, and you wake up in your little room and you end up getting shipped out to space. And you find out that, as the game implies, there's a bunch of aliens that have taken over. And you need to figure out what happened on the station, try to look for any survivors. And then at the end, you kind of have to make one of two really big decisions on what to do about the space station. And so as you're going through the game, like these little aliens, they're called typhoids. And
Typhon.
So, what is it?
Typhon. A typhoid is
Typhon,
a type of
that's
fever.
right. Typhoid. Typhoid.
Typhon.
disease.
I got typhon
Yeah,
fever, baby.
Yeah, the little typhons. And so what kind of makes the game like a little slightly into the horror aspect is that they can, they're called mimics. And so they can turn into little household items, like a pair of scissors or even like a gun you want to pick up, and they'll jump at you.
Yeah.
Which will give you a heart attack at several points in the game.
It's like the mimic thing is so crazy because like Rhea, I'm sure you've seen stuff about the mimics, right? Like they can become like a coffee cup or whatever, right? Like literally any object in the space station could be a mimic waiting for you. But the craziest one is, it's so crazy that there was one time I saw a health pack and I went to get it and it was a mimic.
Those are the ones that get you.
Yeah, like there's one place where there's a sign on a door like saying like, oh, this is this room, and the sign was actually just a mimic the whole time.
Oh my god.
Like, so there is not no there's no peace in this world. There's only fear.
There was never peace.
Yeah.
No, I really love the gameplay to this game because I mean, like Dishonored, you just have so many different options in how you want to go for it. So I'm more of a stealth. I don't go in guns a blazing for most games. So I like to have that option.
Yeah, you can definitely stealth this one, or you can like, just shoot things. I also want to give a shout out to the glue gun, which is like the sort of the best part of this game, which it's a totally new kind of. It's the best weapon. So that's the first weapon you get. It's called the glue gun. It shoots this weird substance, basically
Glue.
that like it's called glue, and if you shoot it at an alien, it'll freeze that alien into a solid statue for like a few seconds. But you can also shoot it into the world, and it creates a persistent platform there. So in this game, like that's like you're doing all the shooting and stuff. You're also platforming around these areas by creating platforms by making these like goo chains. And it really is up to your imagination as to how inventive you can be with how you traverse these rooms and stuff.
Oh yeah, and I think part of the fun too is you can get some cool powers in the game, but it definitely has the mindset of the cooler the powers, technically more difficult aspects of the game will get, and it might change your ending.
Yeah. So I don't want to I don't want to spoil the actual ending, but a really cool thing. So you know how like Dishonored has like the low chaos, high chaos thing. Like if you kill too many people in one level, in the next level there's like more guards, more monsters, etc. Because like security has been beefed up, right? Like they're like, oh, somebody's killing all our people, we need more guards, etc. The version of that in this game, I think, is that the neuromods, which are like your skills, like your powers. If you want to get alien, like basically what you're doing with these neuromods is you're injecting alien DNA into your own body in order to gain alien powers. And if you inject too many of them, you start to become an alien, and you are detected by the ship as an alien. So like the systems on the ship that are designed to kill the Typhon like will also turn on you, etc. So yeah, like I think that's just like really fascinating. It's like, yeah, you can like become like god powerful if you're willing to like deal with like the punishment that comes with it.
Or just turn into a coffee cup and roll around the ship.
Yes, also a good option, because you can also mimic stuff too if you get the mimic power, and you can just turn into like a book and just live there on the shelf forever. The dream.
Isn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong, Nirav. Once you get more neuromod powers, you get hunted more frequently by the nightmare.
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. So like as you progress through the game, there is this one singular creature called the Nightmare, which is like a monster. Like, God, it's gigantic. It doesn't even fit in most rooms, but like it will detect you and it will hunt you. Like, so the more neuromods that you install, like the more powerful you become, the better it is at tracking you. And there comes a point where you have to like basically like run and hide in a vent and just like scream while it walks around you, Yeah, but like all that's like super cool, but like I think like the coolest part of this is that like there's I don't know how to say this, like the ship is like always kind of like evolving too. Like things don't stay the same when you walk around it. It is kind of an open world that you're unlocking into an open world. But like, I guess it's more of a Metroidvania in that way. But like, it's every time you come back to a place, it's like, okay, like I was in this room and I saw these phantoms and I killed them, and like so they're gone now. But like maybe I didn't kill a weaver that was in like another adjacent room, and so this weaver has, while I was gone, sprouted some children, and there's like 3 or 4 of these in this room now. Etc. So, yeah, I don't know. So, I know I'm just kind of saying a lot of words right now. Do you have any questions or thoughts?
I really don't, because I've heard so many people talking about it. I just need to play it. That's all I've got to say.
Interesting.
This is just another reminder. And also, I need to play something made by Arkane Studios, because
Yes.
I stand them just based on what I've heard about them. I'm always rooting for them. I just have never played anything they've ever played.
So, This music by the way was written by Mick Gordon, the guy who did Doom. So yes, very good music. Also, story was written by Chris Avallone, who did Fallout New Vegas. And yeah,
Nice.
and he said he took inspiration from the movies Moon, Starship Troopers, The Matrix, and Aliens for this. So actually, Reed, let me give you the setup for this. I'll pull you in. You're Morgan Yu. You're an astronaut, and you wake up one morning, and it's March 15th again, and you've Groundhog Dayed yourself. You get up and get ready and you go to work and you meet your brother. Your brother is the director of the space program, and your parents are the rich ass people who founded it. So like you're like the richest person, which is nice.
I already can't relate.
But yeah, you get to this place and you're like about to start your space training, and they're gonna launch you into space, and you get up there on board Talos 1, which is the space station, which has already been built out, right? Like there's dozens of people on it already. It's a really nice place, but you get there and you start doing your initial testing, and there are these aliens, yeah, like we said, the Typhon. There are many different kinds of them, but humans have been capturing them, right? Whenever they come by, and they've been containing them and studying quote unquote. I'm sure that you've seen enough movies to understand what they're doing in there. And
Yeah.
I'm sure that you've also seen enough movies to understand the next thing that happens is that the aliens escape captivity and want revenge.
Yeah, shenanigans ensue.
Shenanigans ensue. And so you are trapped on the space station with all of these aliens that have taken over. There are a lot of survivors, however, too, which is something interesting that I think that they could have stressed a little more in the original BioShock, is like having NPCs to like talk to.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Because there's like 3 living humans, I think, left in that game. But yeah, I don't know. Bree, do you remember any of the NPCs that you met up with, hung out with?
In Bioshock or Prey?
In Prey.
Oh, in Prey for sure. The best one that comes to mind is the cook.
Oh yeah, what was he fucking doing? He was doing some shady shit, right?
If you look hard enough, you might find a body in a freezer.
Oh.
That was definitely dragged there. They say like specifically like it wasn't like
there's like
anything.
Yeah, there's like a whole like investigation quest there.
Yeah.
But like also the powers get so fun. Like there are some like there's like mind jacking where you can like, oh man, you can control corpses of people that have been killed with your mind. And so like that's one way to like, oh man, it feels awful to do a lot of this stuff because there's so many corpses scattered around the ship. But like one of my strategies was I like leveled up mind jacking all the way, and then I would like hide behind like a plant, and then like there'd be like a telepath in the middle of the room, and I would like raise like 5 corpses from the dead and like use them to like explode into the telepath and use their own bodies to like kill it. Which is like, again, like one way you can come up with to kill stuff. Or just get
for sure. There's a lot of ways, especially if you're morally flexible.
Yes, it helps you be morally flexible in these. This one also doesn't really have like there's not really like a no kill condition for this, like in with Dishonored, but there is, in a similar way, you can either choose the NPCs you find. I think there's like a dozen or so. They all have actually they're all named and like they have well written out backstories. There's like a romance story that's like a sub story that's really sad because like was it Danielle and then what's her face? I don't know, but one of them dies, like, and you see her body like floating outside the ship, like stuck to the wall, like just trying to reach each other through the glass, as they die.
Oh, that was so sad.
It's the fucking worst. Also, it's like really one interesting way that they develop a lot of the characters you don't meet is that they were playing a game of Dungeons and Dragons on the ship.
Yes.
And you find all their character sheets and their notes scattered around, and like by reading through their character sheets, like you can like kind of understand better who these people were, which I think is like a really nice touch.
There's like a voice recording too of them playing the game.
Yeah, and you can just kind of see like which one's like the jackass guy and which one's like the serious one, etc. That's really nice. But yeah, so as far as like Prey, I think for a lot of people, I think it's a little overwhelming, I would say, because it does dip into pretty much every single genre of game that exists. Like there's, of course the exploration part, there's the platforming, but you're building the platforms, there's crafting because you're finding all these things, you're scrapping them in scrap machines into basic materials and then building more stuff out of them. Oh, yeah, so one interesting thing is the guns and ammo you're using, you don't find them anywhere. You have to build them in these fabricator machines with the materials that you find from breaking down aliens and chairs and lamps and whatever you can find.
Oh boy, I'm not very crafting in video games because I forget like what I'm actually looking for and then just never make anything.
It's actually extremely easy because there's only 4 types of crafting material and everything in the world breaks down into those 4 things. There's like
I think I can handle it. So
Yeah.
it's like Animal Crossing.
Yeah, it's like Animal Crossing levels of mental strain.
Prey
Yes.
New Horizons.
Yes. New Horizons. There is sort of a new horizon at the end. It's a bad one.
Oh.
So I do want to like talk quickly about my part in the part of this game that made me like so sold on it being one of like the all-time greats is that I was in this place in like it was like in the electrical room, the like voltage chamber or something it was called, and there were 2 I haven't talked about the phantoms. Bree, you remember the phantoms? The guys who
they're like the big typhons walking around. They're like talking.
Yeah.
Like you can hear their voices.
Ugh.
It's pretty creepy.
Okay, so Rhea, the phantoms are like one of the more common enemies, but they are horrifying because they are these like staticky black creatures that are like they almost look like a person, but like what they are is like a typhon like sucked the soul out of one of the people that it killed and it like took that person's form. And so what it is doing is as it stalks around like this shambling husk of a person in a room, like it's whispering back to itself the last words of the person who it consumed. So like you can hear it whispering to itself like, please leave me to devour, stuff like that.
Oh. Scary.
And then like it's fucking scary as hell. And you can even hear people like pleading for help or like calling each other like like don't kill her and stuff like that.
That's fun.
But they're just
really
like
fun.
Yeah, they're just like shambling around these rooms like screaming it, right? And then oh man, the fucking machines that have been corrupted by the Typhon are the worst because they're like, there has been an error. Terminate. It's like fuck me, I'm hiding behind this rock forever.
I am the biggest scaredy cat games. I played Bioshock. I was about to say Bioware. I have not played Bioware.
Just everything everywhere.
Well, that's also true, but continue.
That is true, yeah. But I played Bioshock and I got about, I don't know, 6 hours in. And
that's
that
like
is
most of it.
That's 6 hours more. Oh, I did not get far. I've done like one of the bosses.
How many big daddies did you fight?
2 or 3.
Okay, yeah, you probably didn't make it halfway. I don't think then.
I stood up and was like, I've seen enough of this game. I'm gonna.
That is a scary. No, that is a scary ass game. Like I know a lot of people are like, it's like
terrifying.
Whatever, but like I think it's genuinely one of the scariest games ever. Like the splicers are the fucking worst.
Oh my god! Like I told a friend I was like, I can't play this, and he was like, it's not even a horror game. It's not even scary. I was like, I'm terrified the second the game boots up. So because I got like 3 big daddies down, I was like, yeah. I've completed the game now. This is good for me.
That's all of them.
Great game. I love the game. Hope to play it someday.
But yeah, to get back to what I was saying about this moment that I was like really sold on this game is there is an item called a recycler grenade, and what you do with it is you toss it, and whatever is in the vicinity of it, it recycles into its base component parts. One really cool thing that I figured out on my own too was that I could get organic material, which I needed to make more glue ammo, by when I found corpses, I would drag all the corpses into one spot and then recycle them into organic material and then use it to build more glue. Which is like, just really fun when you do it. But The thing that like I was doing was I was like in the rafters of this big giant electrical room, and there were two voltaic phantoms below me, like electrical phantoms, and I had no ammo left in any of my guns, and I was like stuck here. And I was like just like sweating bullets, and I was like looking through my inventory for anything, and I saw this recycler grenade, and the inspiration that struck me has been unlike any other game. And I didn't know I could do this, but I looked down at them, I waited for them to walk near each other, and I threw the grenade, and I recycled both of them alive into, like, alien material. Like, and I was just like, holy shit, like, this game, I think, better than any other game, actually, like Dishonored, sure, but, like, I think I would probably draw more of a parallel to Zelda Breath of the Wild on this, like, it forces you to be resourceful past what you ever thought you would figure out on your own. Like, it is not really even a game about intelligence or, like, strategy. It is just about, like, being forced into a corner and figuring out stuff you would have never thought yourself able of doing. Because you are constantly out of ammo. You are constantly running from shit. Like, you are not... There is no place of peace to, like, hide. It is a stressful experience, but... in that stressful experience, the reward is being resourceful enough to always make it out of it alive. Which I think is super cool. Yeah, I don't know. Bree, do you wanna say anything else about the main game?
Yeah, I think one of the best experiences for me, honestly, was just like putting on a spacesuit and being able to float out in space.
Oh yeah, you can do that.
That's
Yeah.
not very common in a game, especially like genuine mechanics where you have to like use the thrust, and it has like pretty good sense of what it would be like to be in space, like the floatiness.
Yeah.
That was pretty great. And looking out, and you can like see the planets, and then realizing you can also get attacked when you're in space, and like
Yeah.
can't even save it.
Even though it's kind of an open world, there's not really a fast travel mechanic. The fastest way of traveling is by opening the space hatch doors in different parts of the ship and then flying out into space and like having to understand the physics of like using the thrusters on the different sides of the spacesuit to get like from like to where you're going to the other hatch.
Yeah.
And then do you remember the guts of the ship?
Oh, I don't.
The guts is like that big, it's like that giant tunnel down the center with like the yellow stream of like weavers and everything. Like it's like it's like the hardest part of the game because like you're just trapped in there for like an hour just like trying to survive in this fucking forever tunnel.
I just keep throwing like recycler bombs or anything else I can. Get something
Literally,
else to do the work for you.
Yeah, literally just pick up whatever you can and throw it. That is what this game is.
Yes.
Yeah, but I also want to give a shout out here to the DLC. I don't know, Bree, did you play the DLC of the Moon Crash?
I did not.
Yeah, I remember being so excited for this, and I remember booting it up and never stepping away from my computer again. I actually like I spent like maybe 20 hours completing this DLC over the course of just 2 days. It is Prey Moon Crash is my favorite DLC ever created for anything. I would say that absolutely without a doubt. It is the most intelligent and original thing I've ever seen. It is like disconnected, sort of. Like you're not the same character. You are on the moon while the events of this are happening in the space station. You're on the moon base, and essentially what happens is that like the simulation part of it is played up again, and so you have 5 people on the moon who are trapped in the moon base, and there is an ever-rotating, procedurally generated world around you. So nothing is ever the same twice, but basically every time you are thrown out into the world with just a wrench, as a little tribute to Bioshock, of course, and you are thrown out into the world with a wrench, and with whatever items you find, with whatever enemies are there, whichever people you're able to track down, puzzles you're able to solve in this ever-shifting world, you have to, over and over again, figure out a way to use the systems of the world to unlock the shuttle and escape. So, basically in one run, what you're doing is that you start with your first character, you have to run out, figure out how the systems of this world work so that you can set it up so that your last character can escape, because the ultimate goal is for all 5 of your characters to get into the shuttle and escape together. So the actions of the first character affect that of the second. So like unless I unlock this door while I'm the first character, and lure one of these specific Typhon into this room so the second character can kill it, I won't be able to get the third character the card key they need from that alien, etc. So this is you replaying but everything is procedurally generated, so it's all different every single time you do it. And it's like impossible to master this world. You have to rely 100% on your resourcefulness of understanding what you've done and what you have to do to figure out how to get everybody onto that shuttle. And so, like, it is just so incredible. And of course, I know what I'm saying again sounds really similar to Deathloop. That obviously Moon Crash was obviously them testing this idea for them to make a full game out of it with Deathloop. And I mean, after I've talked about all this stuff, I think you can see that like Deathloop is weirdly like a culmination of everything else they've ever made, kind of pushed together into one thing.
And finally released.
Finally gets to be made. Yeah, so everybody like absolutely like play Moon Crash. I cannot say enough good things about it. It is ridiculous. It's just the idea of like, I don't know, like I don't love games that are like super difficult, but like I do love games that force me to be resourceful and like force me to use the items and the tools at my disposal to outsmart the developers. And that is what Prey is. Prey is a game in which they make this intricately moving world that's always changing, and they give you a set of tools, and the developers say, here's your obstacles, outsmart us, you fuck. So yeah, I think I've yelled enough probably. I want to give a little shout out to, do you guys know about the game Prey for the Gods?
No.
Okay.
It was originally called like it was named Prey, Pray for the Gods. It's like a spiritual sequel to Shadow of the Colossus. Bethesda got into a little bit of a scrap with them when they were making this game, and so the name of that game had to be changed to Pray for the Gods, spelled Praey.
Why?
Because they said like
abandon the whole praying concept at that point.
Well, it's like a cool play on words. Like, you pray for the gods, but like you are prey for the gods. The gods are trying to hunt you.
Oh.
It's a cool name, but you can't use it because Bethesda owns it. Okay, so I guess let's finish up with I guess are there enough ghosts in this? There are a lot of phantoms. I think we said.
I think there could be more ghosts.
I think there could be more. I think a lot of the enemies are ghost-like the Weavers and the telepaths and stuff. But I don't think we have any legitimate dead people. Well, the phantoms are dead people, and that's why they're called phantoms. So I guess there are a lot of ghosts. We need more. We need more. Add some more in. Okay. Let's see. So let's jump into our game. This isn't going to be really a guessing game. More of just like a let's have some ideas here. Let's brainstorm. So in honor of Arkane's thousands of canceled games, I've dug up some interesting games that were canceled in the past, and I'll describe it to you a little bit, and you tell me if we're gonna ship it or quit it. Are we gonna cancel this? We got to save some money for the next one, or are we gonna ship this out? We got to get this made.
Can we do what EA do and just like say, oh, we'll fund it for like in 4 years and then pull funding and it never gets produced?
If you could just make the whole game and then we don't pay you for it. Okay, so Reed, this one's a good one to start on for you. This is from Lionhead Studios, who you of course know.
Oh, I think I already know it.
This game was called 14 BC. Do you know about this one?
I don't know about that one. Okay.
Yeah, this was going to be an Xbox exclusive, supposed to be for 2004. So, you were going to be a caveman, and you would get in a time machine, basically, and travel all of these... They said they were going to make it extremely realistic, so they were going to have you survive with your tribe, like battle like beasts, including dinosaurs and stuff, etc., and become like the dominant species on Earth. And so, like, you would, like, build up your tribe with, like, finding all these, like, cool things, etc. There's, like, a food chain mechanic. And then you are the top of the food chain. So, like, you would have to, like, I mean, as I've looked at the description for this, I think the game that got made actually was that, like, was it called Humankind and Odyssey or whatever? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Ancestors, a Humankind Odyssey. I think that game ended up being this game, but this was essentially the journey of the caveman to become the top of the food chain. And also dinosaurs were there because I guess that was chronologically correct. So this is again from Bree. This is from the makers of the Fable games. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do we have the money for this one? Are we gonna ship this one?
I'm not crazy about it, and also it's a lot to pull off considering like Lionhead Studios or Peter Molyneux in particular were notorious for being like, "Hey, we're gonna put this feature in it," and then it wouldn't appear. So
Spore is gonna have a lot of features.
So I'm gonna say no. I'm not crazy about this one.
Okay.
It's a good thing they scrapped this and worked on other games.
Fair enough. Okay. How about this one? This is a Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Yeah, this one was called Star Wars 1313.
Oh my god.
Do you know this one?
Yes. I'm already saying yes.
You're already gonna ship it? Alright. So this would be like you playing as Boba Fett, traveling the underworld of Coruscant, doing like seedy bounty hunter shit, and it was like really realistic combat with like no force stuff involved at all. It was just all about like shooting basically. No lightsabers in this one. And you also get to hang around the cantina with people. But this
sounds so good.
Yeah, this one was canceled because Disney shut down LucasArts in 2013.
Actual crime against humanity. It didn't get made. I'll die on this hill.
This was a war crime. Bree, I don't know. Are you a big Star Wars fan?
Yeah.
Would you like this?
Yes. Absolutely. No, I'm a huge Star Wars fan.
Okay.
To be fair, I haven't played a whole lot of the Star Wars games. Probably due to their quality in some cases, but
sure. Okay, this is an interesting one. Might be quicker. Mega Man Maker was canceled. It was just Mario Maker, but for Mega Man.
That could be fun. I'd ship that, yeah.
Yeah, and you could share levels and challenge people to complete them. But you play as Dr. Wily, and you're like canonically building a bunch of levels to like make Mega Man like suck.
Oh, that sounds really fun.
Yeah,
why did that get cancelled?
It was when the creator of Mega Man, Keiji Inafune, left.
Inafune,
Yeah, he left Capcom, and that was his project, and it just kind of died with him.
Well, thank God we got Mighty Number 9 instead. That was a worthy sacrifice.
Okay. So we'll say that, yeah, okay, this one is fucking crazy. This one is called Gotham by Gaslight. I don't know if anyone's heard of this. I did not know about this. This is a Batman game set in the Victorian era where Batman fights Jack the Ripper.
What?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Why?
So THQ was developing this apparently, and they kind of were they just like made some prototypes of it. They looked at it and were like, nope, this is dumb. So this was like steampunk Batman basically. And it would have been like old-timey technology too, and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know, like I don't know. Do you feel like this would have been is there any way this would have been a good fun game to play, or just like a meme game?
Why does it have to be Batman if they're rejecting everything about the Batman setting? It's making new IP at that point, I mean.
Let's see. Yeah, and no. So we're gonna ship it, or we're gonna quit it? What do you think?
I'm gonna quit it. I'm not crazy about this. I don't know about you, Bree.
Do you like Gotham do you like actual gothic Batman? No. No love. No love for old-timey grappling hook. What would he even throw? Like crumpets? I don't know. Bat crumpet. All right, how about this one? Final Fantasy 2 I hate their fucking names. Okay.
Oh, is this 10-3?
No, this is 12-2.
Oh god, these names are so stupid.
So it was called Final Fantasy 12 Fortress, thankfully. So it wasn't actually called 12-2. But it was actually a Dark Souls style game in the Final Fantasy 12 world. And you would like defend these fortresses from this thing called the Sea King, and like basically you would just have tons of boss battles and like stuff like that. Yeah, and it didn't really get past much of the the early development stage, but it would have been like very non-linear with basically just like series of crazy eldritch horror boss battles in this world. And I guess they said like, no, this would be bad. I don't know.
See, I feel like that could be fun. I want to pursue that.
I don't know, Bree. What do you feel like? Do you like this one?
I might pass on this one.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. Ree, I think I've got one for you here too. How do you feel about Sonic X-Treme?
I don't even need context. It's a definite yes. I'm loving the. Is it a tie-in to Sonic X, the amazing hit anime which everyone loves?
First of all, I did love Sonic X.
Yes,
gotta go fast. Season 3 was a little crazy, huh? They got the space robots, and Tails fell in love with the alien.
That did indeed happen. It started quite grounded. I like how the whole point of the show was this is grounded. That's the real world, and now it's the space alien.
I think legitimately the peak of that entire show is, of course, the part where like the episode in season 3 opens up on the space cantina, and like you hear this like synth music playing, and then the camera pans over to Vector the crocodile, who's playing the synths in this space bar, and he looks up and he talks directly to the camera, and he says, "I suppose you're surprised to see me playing the piano."
Oh god.
Which is might have been the height of television. I don't know.
Oh yeah. I mean,
it peaked. It just went downhill from that.
They were ahead of the time because I mean, obviously you had House of Cards when they had the whole thing where he would like speak to the camera, but Sonic X came first, and I don't think that gets
it really
credit.
did. Claire. Okay, so anyway, Sonic X-Treme was like a 2.5D side scroller, and they were like, this was actually being done back for the what was the last Sega system called? Which one was that? Was that the Genesis?
That's the Dream. Wait, the most recent one, Dream.
Dreamcast, the one that came out with the N64 against it.
Actually, was that again? Dreamcast was against the GameCube technically. Oh, it's a Saturn. You're thinking of
Saturn. Yeah, this was for the Saturn, but it like they said they couldn't meet the deadlines during development, and it just got canceled and also was bad. It was actually just a boss rush game. Weirdly enough, there wasn't any like running around.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, the salvage of that game became Sonic Jam, I think, which was like this like anniversary game, which I had, and it's so weird because it was like the first 3D, like proper 3D Sonic game, if I remember correctly, and you wander around this like really cool looking open world, and then it's suddenly all closed off, and the whole point of the open world is for you to just go to different rooms and look at concept art. It's so pointless.
Hold on a second. I'm trying to remember what the name of this other thing was. But, also, here's a good one. This one probably doesn't need any actual, like, like elaboration, but Next Level Games, who makes a lot of the Mario games, was making Super Mario Spikers, which was a volleyball game. Absolutely, right? Like,
yeah,
that's an easy
absolutely.
one. Are you kidding?
Only if it's the art style of Strikers.
Yeah. Oh, with the fucking angry Mario on the cover.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm saving my favorite one for last, but here's another good one though. The Pirates of the Caribbean: Armada of the Damned. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This would be the world of Jack Sparrow, of course. They would have cast like the player character would be like a new character named James Sterling, who died on the job to be resurrected as either a legendary or dread pirate. You can do like a good or evil path, and then you would like go onto an open world high seas adventure. And then in 2010, Disney did a bunch of restructuring, and they laid off the entire development team, and the game was canceled. this was actually interestingly, the team at Ubisoft like said that they knew about this game, and like Assassin's Creed Black Flag was sort of building on like some of the bones of what that game was going to be. But still, it would have been cool to have like a actual like I don't know like a licensed IP game, because like I mean, Assassin's Creed Black Flag is literally just Pirates of the Caribbean. It's even in the Caribbean. I mean, and your pirate talks like this and everything, right? Like it's all there.
Yeah. It could have been really fun, I think.
Yeah, I think they could have been good.
Yeah.
The Pirates franchise isn't doing so well. Let's get it out there. Let's see if we can salvage something.
Revive it a bit.
So, this is my most lamented one, which was it was just called Chic. Or sorry, it was called The Chic. Sorry. So this was a Zelda game being developed by Retro Studios, who did the Metroid Prime games.
Ooh.
Yeah, this game was it took place directly at the end of Ocarina of Time, in the timeline where Sheik survives, as Zelda survives, and like, but in this timeline, Ganon, destroys the world, and so in this game, you would play as Sheik, Zelda in the wasteland, basically, like having to traverse this horrifyingly dark and grotesque open world wasteland. This was in development in 2005, by the way.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and they worked on it. Retro worked on this for 3 years before it was canceled.
Why was this cancelled? This sounds amazing.
Nintendo thought it was too dark.
That's shit that we've seen in Zelda already.
Okay, Nintendo.
Come on.
Like the moon was gonna crash into the earth and kill everything. Is that light for you?
The concept art for it was like crazy. Like, hold on, I'm just gonna put this in here. Look at this picture.
Bruh, that looks so bloody good.
Yeah, look at this fucking whale guy over here. Hold on.
Oh my god.
Right?
That looks really nice.
Yeah, look at this. Look at this shit.
I'm so mad.
I was extremely angry when I found out about this.
Should have had this.
Yeah. This would have been very good.
Nintendo, what the hell? Nintendo, we're having a falling out. We've been big fans, but do better. I mean,
yeah.
Get this out. Make it. Finish it, please.
This was 12 years ago.
I don't care. Find it. It's gotta be somewhere.
Somebody has it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So good.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry to end this on a sad note. So let's close out. So thank you actually to Todd Howard for this one. He saved Arkane Studios.
He did. I like to think
Thank
he
you, Todd.
personally called.
I like to think that was him on the phone. Yeah, on the other end there.
I think they were just being polite with the story. He actually just interrupted the dinner. He physically turned up and was like, "Hey, we're buying you," and they were like, "Oh, okay,
we're buying you. It's gonna be here are your welcome packets, and each one of them does include a copy of Skyrim."
Also, Arkane must have been on his Christmas list that year as a studio.
Yeah,
that
everybody
for being a good boy.
Everybody who works there gets a free copy of Skyrim, though. That's true. That's not a joke. I do know a guy who works at Bethesda.
Oh my god.
No, you get all Bethesda games for free if you work there. It's funnier to say that you just get a free copy of Skyrim on your way in. Okay, so yeah, let's close out then. So thank you, and yeah, you can find us on GameLuster.com. Mention we have like a YouTube channel. You can go find it, please. We have good videos there. I hope so.
Some is good though.
Some of it's good. You can find us on Twitter at GameBustersPod, and I am at Gondeezy, and you can find Ree at Ree_Bevan. And remember, if you happen to have an Apple device, we would really appreciate if you could like go on the iTunes store and give us a good rating and a review, and we'll give you a shout out on the show if that pops up. Okay, so Bree, do you want to plug anything while you're here? You working on something creative?
Ooh, I wish, but I have school things, which doesn't allow for much of that.
Are you finishing soon?
Mm-hmm. That's my favorite question.
Okay. Well, are you like you're on your second year, right, of school?
I am. So I probably have about 3 years left.
Interesting. Are you doing a PhD?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was like, damn. All right. I forgot.
Just dissertation things.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Ree, how's your PhD going?
I'm too intelligent for them, so I thought I'll give my classmates a break from when I did my undergraduate. Give them a break from my sheer brain genius. And then I'll go back to it a little bit later. Fucking wish. I want to avoid more student debt. It's scary.
Hey,
I'm
that's fine.
gonna go back one. I'm going back one day. I wanna do a master's.
When
or
I'm rich,
something.
I'm going right back in there.
No, I would absolutely love to do a master's, but it sounds very scary.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I did one. It was a little scary, but
A little bit.
yeah.
You get the wizard hat at
You
the
do
end.
get, yeah, you do get a wizard hat.
Oh my god.
I don't know if you know that, Ree. When you finish grad school in the U.S., they give you like a wizard hat kind of a thing.
Are you pulling my leg right now? Is this?
It's actually not really that much of a joke because like you do get like these wizard robes that they give you, which is a real
Yes.
thing. Yeah.
I mean, we had the robes as well, but like, so my
I think you
graduation has been postponed by a year, and now we're gonna have it in August. And they're like, oh, you can get the robes. You can rent them for £40. So that's like what, $50-$60.
Yeah.
And you rent them for one day and then give them back.
That's like cheaper than what we
$60.
have here, honestly.
What? Really?
I'm pretty sure like graduation stuff costs more than that. Like I think I had to buy my graduation robes.
See, I wouldn't mind buying them, but it's about I have to rent them for $60.
Yeah.
And then
Ooh.
it's like I think $40 to get in. It's
Gah.
bad.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Well, don't graduate over there is our lesson
Yeah.
today. Okay. So, yeah, let's see. Let's go ahead and give our last word for the winner. Was it Bree? Did you bring Sonic with you?
No, that was Brie.
That was Bree.
Mhm.
Okay.
Say Brie.
Um,
So similar.
I hate.
Got Sonic.
Okay. Could you, I don't know, say some sort of spell or incantation to break us out of this this eternal space station? Just something that Sonic would say. It just like, in your best impression.
Oh God, what does Sonic say?
I think he says like must move quickly. I think that's one of the things.
Must move quickly.
All right.
Brilliant. Next
We're not,
voice actor
I'm
selection.
I'm gonna let that be the end of it, but only because I know it's not gonna get any better.
To be fair, I only played 2D Sonic games, and I
Oh.
never actually watched the movie.
Some kind of elitist over here.
I
Fake,
You-
what a fake fan.
prefer the originals.
So you prefer the good Sonic games? Fuck you. Real fans hate all of the games.
You're right.
That's true. Okay, see you guys. Thanks.
Hey, that was smooth.
No, I didn't ask you to do the Friends clap.